Welcome back to the Hollywood Con, where glitz meets grift and the biggest scams come dressed in designer heels. Today's story is one of the most bizarre and mind-bending cons Hollywood has ever seen. A scam so elaborate it fooled hundreds of people across the globe for nearly a decade. This is the real-life psychological thriller of the Hollywood Con Queen, a master manipulator who impersonated some of the most powerful women in entertainment and lured freelancers into a trap with fake promises of fame, fortune, and film credits. It's a story about ambition, deception, and the dark side of chasing the dream. The scam first surfaced around 2013. At first, it was just a whisper. Stylists, makeup artists, personal trainers, and screenwriters were receiving unexpected offers to work on major film projects overseas. The emails were polished and professional, allegedly sent by top-tier producers like Kathleen Kennedy, Debbie Liebling, and Amy Pascal. In Hollywood, getting a random call about a project isn't unusual, especially in the freelance world, and when the names being used are as recognizable as Pascal and Kennedy, it's easy to let your guard down. A quick Google search confirmed these were real industry powerhouses. That sense of legitimacy was the bait, and it worked. Victims were told they'd been handpicked to work on blockbuster films, often international co-productions, and were asked to fly to Jakarta, Indonesia, for in-person meetings. Once there, the charade began. They were shuffled from hotel to hotel, escorted to fake casting calls or scouting locations, and kept occupied by someone they believed was a production coordinator. The scammer, using a convincing female voice, would call at odd hours, often 2 or 3 a.m., to discuss project updates and next steps. Victims were told to cover their own expenses, interpreters, drivers, even security, under the promise that everything would be reimbursed. But that money never came. Some were scammed just once. Others went back multiple times, clinging to the belief that this was their big break. Many even returned to Indonesia a second or third time, each time thinking, this is the one that pays off. That's how good the scam was. It wasn't just about stealing money, it was about hijacking hope. One of the most heartbreaking stories came from filmmaker Will Strathmann, who believed he was working on a pilot for Netflix. He booked flights, hired translators, and even flew to Bali, all under the illusion that the work was legit. The scam drained his savings. He lost $54,452 chasing a dream that never existed. Sometimes, the illusion went even deeper. Victims were asked to audition in hotel rooms, give personal monologues, or perform exercises that added an air of exclusivity to the project. One actor thought he was preparing for a film directed by Doug Liman. He was assigned movie-watching homework and character analysis essays, something he described as a welcome distraction during the COVID-19 lockdowns. But things soon turned disturbing. In the middle of the night, he received a call from someone pretending to be Barbara Ellison, the ex-wife of Oracle billionaire Larry Ellison, who was supposedly linked to the fake movie. The call quickly became sexual. She asked him to act out intimate scenes, including licking her over the phone, followed by her moaning through what sounded like a staged orgasm. In another instance, during a supposed Skype meeting with Universal's Donna Langley, he was asked to kiss the camera, undress, and touch himself. He didn't go through with it, but the psychological damage was real. So who was behind this? For years, no one knew. The scammer used voice changes, fake emails, and spoofed numbers to avoid detection. Victims described them as eerily charismatic and emotionally manipulative. The con artist remembered birthdays, offered compliments, and created just enough intimacy to earn trust before asking for more money. The scam continued unchecked for years until Gregory Mandarano, a screenwriter and victim, stepped in. Over 6 months, he was lured into developing a fake fantasy film called Shadows Below for the so-called China Film Group. During that time, he actually met the scammer multiple times in person, something no other known victim had done. Eventually, Mandarano obtained a fake passport under the name Gobind Tahil. With help from another victim, Mike Swick, a former MMA fighter living in Thailand, they connected the dots. The evidence was turned over to investigators. By mid-2019, the FBI launched a public portal for victims to come forward. It's worth pausing here to highlight the brilliance and audacity of this scam. The Con Queen crafted entire fake productions full of fake timelines, fake teams, and fake meetings. Victims were fed just enough believable detail to keep the lie alive. Sometimes they'd even get follow-up calls from different fake executives, all played by the same person, using different voices. And the scam's unraveling didn't stop there. That same year, filmmakers Jack Owen and Costa Corrales released A Colorful Red, a short documentary featuring first-hand accounts from victims like Carly Rudd, Megan Bourne, and Jord Hammond. The film premiered at the Cannes American Pavilion and was even shortlisted for a student BAFTA. Soon after, the podcast, Chameleon, Hollywood Con Queen, dropped, and it changed everything. The podcast dug deep, combining journalism with victim accounts to build a case in real time. And as the scammer likely realized the net was closing in, he switched tactics once again. He dropped the female impersonations and began posing as male directors, including Doug Liman, in a last-ditch effort to stay undetected. The real identity behind the scammer was finally revealed in November 2020. His name, Hargobind Tahilramani, a 41-year-old Indonesian man, not a Hollywood insider, not even based in the US, but a man with a gift for mimicry and an obsession with control. He was arrested in Manchester, UK, under a US warrant and now faces extradition. According to psychological profiles, Tahilramani exhibited signs of histrionic personality disorder, marked by extreme attention-seeking behavior, emotional manipulation, and a flair for the dramatic. Experts believe he got a rush from crafting these personas and watching people jump through hoops for a fantasy he created. He wasn't just stealing money, he was orchestrating a performance. Every call, every email, every fake contract was part of the role. For him, the con wasn't just a scam, it was his stage. By the time he was caught, Tahilramani had targeted victims in over a dozen countries, including the US, UK, Australia, and India. Some lost a few $100s, others lost their life savings. But the real cost wasn't just financial. Many victims were left emotionally devastated, questioning their instincts, and in some cases, their careers. The Hollywood Con Queen saga has since become a global media event. It was featured in Episode 1 of HBO Max's Generation Hustle, as well as the 2023 best-selling book, The Con Queen of Hollywood, The Hunt for an Evil Genius by journalist Scott C. Johnson. In 2024, Apple TV Plus released a gripping 3-part docuseries titled Hollywood Con Queen, with never-before-seen footage, interviews, and dramatizations that pulled back the final layers of this twisted hoax. So why did it work? Because it preyed on hope. It targeted people chasing their dream. It weaponized ambition disguised as opportunity. In the end, it didn't matter whether the scam was obvious to outsiders. What mattered was that, for the victims, it felt real. It felt like they're shot. Thanks for watching this episode of The Hollywood Con. If this story left you stunned, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next jaw-dropping tale from the shadows of showbiz. Until then, stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, in Hollywood, even the biggest roles can be fake.